Earlier you mentioned with regards to maybe a video posted on social media, you love to be able to see how kids compete. How do you define compete, and what does that look like when you're looking for a new prospect? How can you see a player compete well? What does that look like?
So for me, is they're playing the game the right way. So they're running out a hard 90. They're backing up if they're not on a play from a defensive standpoint. They're able to respond to some type of adversity. So if I'm on the mound, if I'm evaluating a pitcher and he gets a tough call from an umpire, how does he respond to that? Does the player behind him, maybe somebody in the defense makes an error, how does that pitcher respond? Those are things that, to me, are signs of competing. Same thing with the hitters. The hitter may get a bad call, and does that one strike affect the entire at-bat? Or in some cases, does his first at-bat affect the entire, the rest of his day? So seeing guys competing and having the ability to work through some adversity. Everybody talks about baseball being a game of failure. It's really a game of learning and a game of dealing with adversity, because you can be 1 for 3 and it's a successful day. And that's what you want. You want your guys to continue to work and play the game with some intensity, running, doing the things that they can control, running the bases hard, playing the game without the baseball, seeing what their baseball IQ is, and how they handle the rigors of the game. Like I said earlier, if it's an umpiring or physical mistakes, how do they handle that? How do they deal with it? And how do they respond? It's a game of responding and making adjustments, and that's ultimately, for me, watching guys compete. How do they respond, and how do they continue to play the game? And
I think what you just said is great news for players out there, because the things that you said about how players compete, the ones you mentioned are all controllable. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because the truth is, when it comes to running out of balls you hit, or having good body language after a bad call, those are things that you can control, and they don't necessarily have much to do with skill. Obviously, it takes skill to play college baseball, but when it comes to creating a culture and a winning program, you've been doing this for 20 years. And when I ask you, hey, what does it look like to compete? You bring up things that are very controllable for a player. So I love that you say that.